My booster is way past due for a clean. Real quick, let's just talk about things you'll need to actually go through the cleaning process. So I usually just have a paper towel, resolution wipes. I'll show you how fast you can just wipe off the bottom of an atomizer with one of these. And then they do give you some of these with your booster, but I use one every single time I clean it. So you can just get a 100 pack of resolution micro swabs. I haven't really thought about getting any more of these for a while. I haven't dove through too many of them because I haven't needed to clean this too much, and you can see I haven't cleaned mine a lot. So you can pick these up as well, which was sick. So I ended up getting those, and then you can either clean your atomizer or you can just get the new replacement atomizers. So right now I'm gonna clean them, but I'm also just gonna replace mine because I just want a fresh one. So this is really nice. This will be a huge part of it. And then the last part, super crucial, is the pipe cleaner that they give you. I didn't even know it was in the packaging at first. I kept trying to put the micro swabs down the down pipe, which is where you actually pull it down. I usually just use this in a rig. And so the 14 mil actually uses like this really small tube to pull the smoke down. So this is the only way you can really push that out, and I'll show you. So this is a huge part of cleaning a booster. If you haven't, try it out, but you can't rely just on the micro swabs to do what this does. So that's just about everything. I also, admittedly, I use 91%. I would get 99%, but I'm not going to search around for it when some stores don't have it. So I got 91%. That's what I'm working with on this, and this is what I'll soak the 14 mil piece and swab out like the mouthpiece and stuff like that. So I have this. I usually just keep it contained in a Tupperware so that it doesn't evaporate out and get all gross. And so I use ISO as well. Get out my workstation so I don't get my nice desk all dirty, even though it'll still probably get dirty. So take off your mouthpiece, you can set that to the side. Base cap doesn't really get too dirty, so I usually just I can set that anywhere. This just pulls out, and I just toss this in isopropyl. So you can just set that in that container. Next, untwist the base itself. And so you can even see there's a lot of residue on the bottom of the device itself, but that indent gets full. Set those to the side as well. On the top, off as gently as you can, because if this is really nasty, that's why I'm gonna get a new atomizer in there. I am still gonna show you how to clean this because you can keep these going for a while if you're cleaning these on the regular. I will set the base down and we will take out a res wipe. This is like the main reason I love these things, is this is like disgusting. Just twist that around. With how thick it is, this is like seeping through. So I twisted that once and I can see metal basically around the entire thing. That was caked. I'm gonna twist that around again just because why not? Yeah, very, very gross, but res wipes make it really easy, and so cleaning atomizers is like no problem. Open up the micro swabs. I don't really need this, but might as well show it. I usually just dab it in those holes, and you can even see like I'm getting a little bit of residue on there just to clean it out. A lot of the time too, it will pull out after you've kind of swabbed these out. Usually just like clean this up, get any excess off that the res wipe may have had on, or get in the corners, and basically just make this like as clean of a connection as possible, because when you have this done, you're gonna be sticking this right back into your device, and you don't really want to have this fresh device that you cleaned just get gunked back up because you're like, oh, well, it's an atomizer, it's gonna get dirty anyway. So might as well just get as much life out of it as you possibly can. Once this is actually cleaned, swabbed out, set this to the side, and now we're gonna focus on the center of it. I still have a lot of life left out of this cotton swab, so I might as well just use it. And what I do is I'll insert it into the center and I'll just spin. And what you'll see, if you get under that silicone lip, is just, I mean, there's so much that can get trapped under there. And so this is where you might run through a lot of these and why getting a bigger pack of them is really beneficial. You can use regular swabs at this point too, but you're going through the same thing, and these kind of hold together a little better, so I'm not picking out a lot of like loose cotton inside of the device. It's pretty contained with this. So one out, flip that around, and if you're lucky, which I'm not even gonna try on this, you could slide it back into the other side and then have kind of like a clean handle. I'm just gonna be gentle, and then I'm gonna spin this around again. And see, what happened here is, like, when you're spinning this around, you'll find the downpipe. The downpipe is basically, if you look on the bottom, you'll see a hole, and it would just be above that. While you're spinning it around, you'll find that, and that's something that we're gonna need to know where it is in just a second, because we're gonna actually clean that out as well. So keep spinning this around, and then we're going to set that right here and try not to touch it. So throw this away. Take another res wipe. I'll just try and clear out all of that gunk on the top. Just try and swirl it around as much as possible. As I pull this out, it just takes out so much of that random gunk that's chilling in there. So get rid of this. Because I have so many of these, I am gonna use another swab. Just like grip the tip in it. As you have like a firm grip on it, this, like, the wrapper gets really firm, and just kind of like rip it. And the wrapper rips, and then you can just pull it apart. Everyone struggles with opening these. That's how you open these. Just to finish this off, make sure all the coils are good, because like I said with the atomizer, you're gonna be putting this right back in, and you wanna make sure this is a clean connection, so you're starting yourself off on the right foot. You don't wanna make this super spotless yet, because you are gonna still be getting this dirty. You just wanna make sure that a lot of like the nasty stuff is out of there. You don't want it to mix up with what's in the down tube, which is what we're also gonna be getting out of there. I'm going to use this to just clear off the base of this, because we're gonna be using the pipe cleaner on the base, and I don't wanna just like be working around a mess. So clean up the mess around us, and then we'll clean up the rest of it. Just with the top, basically spin that around. And you wanna make sure you get the sidewalls too, because they are threaded. And so if you're just pushing gunk in there, it doesn't really help you when you have to rethread it. So clear out the threads, clear out the base, set that to the side. And then we're actually gonna throw these away, because no need to keep them around, and they're gross. Now that we have this base cleaned out, I use this to clean out just a bit on the top, but what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your pipe cleaner, and you're gonna put it into the bottom, and you're just gonna push it all the way out toward the atomizer. And that's why I said you don't wanna get it too clean, because you are just gonna be re-cleaning what you just did. And what you wanna do is be careful when you're pushing this through the base, because this is just a straight shot up, and then it bends at the silicone. So you can actually puncture the silicone. Speaking from experience, you don't wanna do that. And so just push it out, you'll get that residue out, and then just slide it back out. And you'll see there's so much residue on there. So that's a good push through. I'm gonna try and use another wipe. We'll clear out a bit on the top. The swab, and do that same spin and get any extra residue that comes out from that down tube. And so that'll make sure that even though you just cleaned your atomizer and your threads are all good, you're still clogging. That's where your clog is coming from. And so you have to open up that airway before you can actually fully clean your device. I think we have this in a good spot. So I'm gonna set this to the side, and we're gonna work on the mouthpiece, and we're gonna work on the bottom thread. So the mouthpiece is actually really easy to clean. If you take any swab or a stick or anything, and you put it into the mouthpiece itself, you can actually just pop it out. That will allow you to actually get in there and clean like the mouthpiece part, the connection, because if this gets sticky, you're gonna start forcing it, and then you're gonna snap a piece off. It's gonna just feel more satisfying to have this clean anyway. I'm actually gonna use a res wipe for this because I have so many of them. You can also throw this in ISO. Just be careful, there is an O-ring on this, and so you just wanna make sure that you don't lose that. And then another thing too, if you really want to try and get in there, this is a good reason to soak this every now and again. There are the holes for the mouthpiece, and you want to make sure that you are clearing that out so those don't clog either. Mouthpiece is good. Push all that to the side. Now that those are in a good spot, we're gonna work on this bottom thread. This gets really gross, and we're gonna use this same swab that I still have. We're just gonna scoop out this catch here. This is where basically that bottom down pipe is feeding to, and then your 14 mil is just right there. Put your swab into the base, and then just, like we did before, spin it around, and make sure to push it to the bottom, and you'll see how much residue you actually have in here. So I had too much residue in there, but I'm sure a lot of other people are in the same boat, and so don't feel bad. Everyone's gonna have this happen to their rig, and you don't just wanna call it quits. You wanna find a way to actually move past this. So I did a first pass, a lot of residue on there, but there's still a lot in there, so I'm gonna use my other side to kind of clear out the edges. All right, so now that's all good. I'm gonna throw that away. We're gonna take another wipe, use that to get a lot of that excess that's just sitting in that silicone at the bottom there. As I said with the other side, you wanna make sure that these threads are clean. Just give them a quick pass on a res wipe or anything, and they're all good. So if you do choose to soak this, just be careful, there is a lot of silicone on this, and there are O-rings. So just be very careful that it's not just one piece. So clear out that silicone as well. So now that this is good, we'll set that to the side. So this is all clean. Now we're just going to reassemble everything and get our device back up. Take your base, you're gonna re-thread this back on, and you'll know if you didn't clean it properly enough because it won't screw on as well as you'd like. So that was smooth for me. Take that 14 mil attachment that you just took out of your ISO after it's dry, and then slide it back into the base. So now you're halfway there. I'm just gonna use a new atomizer. And so I already have one gone because I have more than one booster. I'm gonna take this, put it back into the device just like you would. And like I said, you'll know if you didn't clean those threads well enough because it will hit some friction. So after this, let's just put our mouthpiece back together. And then click it back together. Not too bad, just one little spot of res up here, which I could have thrown away. That took me 4 resolution wipes, 3 micro swabs, and a little bit of 91% isopropyl alcohol. And that is a clean booster.